Today we will start from the topic magnetic field due to a current carrying circular coil. Let us suppose that we have a circular coil here in xy plane. Let us suppose that we have a circular coil in the xy plane. We want to find out the magnetic field due to this current carrying circular coil at a point on its axis, point P, which is at a distance of x from the center of the coil. Let us suppose that R is the radius of the circular coil and it is carrying a current I in anti-clockwise direction. Now we want to find out the magnetic field at this point P due to this current carrying circular coil. In order to find the magnetic field, we will consider an infinitesimally small part. Again the same way, we will find out the magnetic field due to a current element, the infinitesimally small part of the current carrying coil. Let us suppose that this is the current element, this is IDL. This is the current element IDL whose length is infinitesimally small, equal to DL. Okay, so we will first of all find out the magnetic field at P due to this IDL. So let us suppose that the distance of this point from here is R. Okay. Alright, so first of all, how much will be the magnetic field at P dB is equal to, suppose this angle is theta. dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi IDL sine theta upon R square. Now this sine theta, this theta is not this angle. It is the angle between ideal vector and R vector. This is ideal vector and this is R vector. So now here you will have to concentrate on my words properly, because I will explain something which I will not be able to draw on the board, because this is a three-dimensional figure. Wait for a second. Okay, I brought this here. Suppose this is our coil. Yes. Now students, suppose this is the coil here like this, and we are finding the magnetic field at a point which is on the normal axis, the axis of the coil which is passing through the center. Here is the point. Here you want to find out this is your coil, and this is the point where you want to find out the magnetic field due to the current carrying coil. The current is flowing in this direction. Now, IDL is considered here at the top. The current is flowing like this. So the direction of current will be at any point will be tangential to the coil, and suppose the cap represents the direction of the current, so it is like this. Okay, so now you can see that if I join these two, suppose, okay, now you can understand here that this at the end of this point you want to find out the current. Now this is your R vector. This R is this one. Okay, now if you look from the top, you will find that what is the angle between R vector and this IDL, this direction. What is the angle between both the pens? It is, you can easily understand that this is 90 degree. Okay, so if you keep it like this or like this or like this, if you will watch, if I change the direction of this pen, but still the angle remains 90 degree between IDL and R vector and IDL vector. Okay, generally people confuse that when I say that this angle is 90 here, they generally confuse with the point that they think that I'm saying about this angle is 90. Okay, but this is not the angle between IDL vector and R vector. This is the angle between the radius of the coil and R vector. We are not considering that. What we are considering is this angle and this angle. Now look at the pen. The angle with the coil changes, right? But the angle with the IDL vector remains 90 degree. It is this way. So it means that this angle, this theta is this, actually we have taken theta here, but that theta is the angle between IDL vector and R vector. It is 90 degree. Okay, so it means that the magnitude, this dB is mu naught upon 4 pi IDL upon R square. Okay, just a minute. Yes, just a minute. Yes, now tell me what happened.
रुद्राक्षी को इन कर लो.
बोलिए उसको.
मैं थोड़ा राइट.
राइट.
यस सर.
फाइन.
यस सर.
बोलिए उसको नोटिफिकेशन डालने के लिए, ज्वाइन करने के लिए बोलो. Okay, so we have here dB equals to mu naught upon 4 pi IDL upon R square. Now what is the direction of dB? dB is having some direction. Now we will find out that direction. Okay, now we know that this magnetic field, its direction is given by IDL vector cross R vector. IDL vector cross R vector gives you the direction of dB vector. Now this dB vector, as per the direction of the cross product vector, it has to be perpendicular to both the vectors IDL vector and R vector. When you take A cross B, it is equal to AB sine theta n cap. N cap gives the direction of A vector cross B vector, which is obtained by right hand thumb rule or right hand screw rule, and the direction is always perpendicular to both A vector and B vector. It has to be perpendicular to both A vector and B vector. Perpendicular, and it will be outward or inward. That condition will be obtained by right hand thumb rule or screw rule. But it has to be perpendicular to both the vectors, right? So it means here also this dB vector must be perpendicular to both IDL vector and r vector. Now here you can understand that if suppose the direction of current is anti-clockwise, then the direction of ideal vector is tangential here. Ideal vector is tangential here. So it should be, if suppose this axis is your x-axis, right? If suppose I am taking like this one, okay? If this point here, this axis is x, this axis is, or this vertical axis is y, and this is z. Okay, so it means that your ideal vector, if it is traveling along x, and your x, this r vector is towards z direction, then your dv must be along the y direction. It should be perpendicular, okay, to both of them, x and z. Once again, I would like to repeat here. This was your the coil. This is the direction of ideal. Now I remove this. This is the direction of ideal. The current is moving along x. Okay. This is your r vector, perpendicular to ideal, perpendicular to x. Right. So it must be in z direction. This is in z direction. So what will be the direction of db vector? It will be perpendicular to both. That means y axis. It should be perpendicular to both y axis. It should be, if this is x, this direction is z, then this upward direction will be y. So it means that this db vector must be perpendicular to this vector also. So I will draw db vector in such a way that this angle is 90. Okay, because db vector must be perpendicular to r vector. It should be along the y direction, right? Now we draw the components of this here. This is one component, this is another component, right? Because db is, we have a vector, so we will draw the components, we will find the components. This db vector must be perpendicular to r vector. Now the db vector's component we are obtaining, if this angle is theta, this angle is 90, as well as this angle is also 90. Okay, let us name them as 1, 2, 3. Now 1 plus 2 equals to 90, right? And 2 plus 3 equals to 90. If you subtract them, then it means that 1 minus 3 equals to 0, or 1 equals to 3. Angle 1 is equal to angle 3. Angle 1 is theta, so angle 3 is also theta. So it means that this angle must be theta, right? Now if this is theta, then this component will be db cos theta, and this component will be db sin theta, right? Now just like your previous case when we discussed about the electric field due to a charged circular coil, in that case, just similar to that, if you consider a current element here, then what you will obtain, you will get like this r, then dv will be in this direction, okay, then it will be resolved into two components. One is db cos theta and other will be db sin theta. Now this db cos theta will cancel this db cos theta. So it means that the db cos theta component will always get cancelled due to the db cos theta component of just opposite current element on the circular coil, right? So it means that whatever magnetic field is there at P, it is due to all the dB sin theta which are produced by the different current elements on the circular coil, right? So it means that how much is B? What is the value of B? It is all the dB sin theta. Integration of all the dB sin theta. Now how much is dB? This is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl upon r square sin theta. Okay. Now this can be written as mu naught upon 4 pi I upon r square sin theta dl. D is attached with L, so this is only the variable, others are all constants, right? Now dl will be mu naught upon 4 pi I upon r square sine theta, and integration of dl will be 2 pi r. Okay. Now we improve this, we will remove this sine theta value here. Now sine theta from the triangle is r upon small r. Sine theta equals to r upon small r, not small r, sorry. Here you have 90. Yes, okay, fine. This 90 is along with the current element. Along with the, in this triangle you have 90 here. So sine theta equals to r upon r. So therefore your value of dV becomes, sorry, B, not dB, it's now B. The value of B is now mu naught upon 4 pi I upon r square r upon r into 2 pi r. Okay, this is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon r cube 2 pi r square, right? Now this 2 pi will cancel this 4 pi 2 times. Okay, so what you get here is mu naught I upon 2 r square into r cube. Now this r also we will have to remove this r. Now here you can say that r square plus x square equals to r square. So it means r is equal to under root r square plus x square. So we will replace it here. This is mu naught I upon 2 r square upon, this is r square plus x square under root raised to the power 3, or simply you can say mu naught I upon 2 r square upon r square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2. Okay, so this is your formula for magnetic field due to a current carrying circular coil. Or you can write like this also, mu naught upon 4 pi, because generally we do not remove this because we have a direct value for this mu naught upon 4 pi. Then in that case you can, means this is your formula, or you can write like this also, mu naught upon 4 pi, and this is 2 pi I r square upon r square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2. This is your formula for B. 2 pi I r square upon r square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2. So this is your formula for magnetic field due to a current carrying circular coil. Now we will take some few special cases here. Special cases. Number 1, if coil has n turns. Suppose the coil has n turns, then the formula will become n times of this, mu naught upon 4 pi, then 2 pi n I r square upon r square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2. If the coil have n turns, then the magnetic field will be n times the magnetic field produced by a single turn of the coil. Okay. Then next is your magnetic field, second point. If suppose x is equal to 0, x0 means the point P lies at center. If the point, what will be the magnetic field at the center of the coil, of the current carrying coil? In case of electric field, it was 0. Electric field due to a charged circular coil at the center was 0. Now we obtain that how much that value will be. If x is equal to 0, this will be 0. R square raised for 3 by 2, this square and half will cancel. So r cube. r square and cube will cancel and you will have only single r here. So B will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi I upon r. Okay, just for one turn. If you have only one turn in the coil, if you have n turns, then this formula will become n times. So the magnetic field at the center of the circular current carrying circular coil is not zero, it is rather this much. Okay. Okay, and when P is at large distance from the coil, third is P is at large distance from coil. Now in case of electric field, we obtained this special case and we found that the electric field for the points which are at large distance from the charged circular ring, the circular ring behaves like as a point charge. The electric field is similar. The electric field is similar to that of a point charge. Means the ring behaves like a point charge for the distant points. Now we obtain the condition for this one. Now P is at large distance from coil. That means X is very much greater than R. So it means that R square plus X square would be approximately equal to X square. So the formula will become B will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi I R square upon X raised to the power 3. Okay, this R square plus X square is approximately equal to X square. Now X square and 3 by 2, half and 2 will cancel, so X cube. So you have mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi I R square upon X cube. This is the expression for magnetic field for distant points due to a current carrying circular coil. Okay, now finally one important thing you remember after this, that if suppose in a circular coil, you remember this method, if the current is if the circular coil have current in anti-clockwise direction, then it will behave like north pole. It will behave like the north pole. And if the current is flowing through a coil in clockwise direction, then it will behave as south pole. Okay, so if you look at the coil and the coil is moving in anti-clockwise direction, then you will consider that end of the coil as north pole. And if it is moving in if it is following the clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction, north pole, and if it is following the clockwise direction, then the end of the coil must be considered as the south pole. Okay, all right, this is about the. Now you have any question for this topic?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. We have next topic, force on moving charge. Force on moving charge in a magnetic field. In a magnetic field. Suppose a charge is moving in a magnetic field. Then it experiences some force. That, how much will be that force? Okay. Suppose we have a plus Q charge, suppose at the origin, and let us suppose that this is X, Z, Y, and let us suppose that the charge is moving with velocity V. Suppose you have a charge in space, it is moving with velocity V in any direction. Suppose it is, for example, it is moving in the YZ plane. Then you draw the perpendicular, okay, and let us suppose that if it is moving like this, that the direction of motion is at an angle of theta with Z axis, okay, then this component will be here, it will be V sine theta. This component will be V sine theta. Once again I am repeating, suppose you have a charge, a plus Q charge, moving in space in any particular direction in such a way that the direction is at an angle of theta with the direction of z-axis, then if you draw the figure, you can obtain the vertical component of the velocity. This will be the horizontal component v cos theta, and this is the vertical component v sin theta. Then you will have a vertical component of v sin theta. Then it is observed that it is an experimental fact that the charge experiences a force, and that force is directly proportional to the magnitude of the charge. It is an experimental observed fact that some force will be experienced by the charge. There is no derivation. It is an experimental observation that the charge will experience some force. Okay, and that force will be directly proportional. Its magnitude is directly proportional to the magnitude of the charge, is directly proportional to this vertical component of sin theta, velocity v sin theta, and directly proportional to the strength of the magnetic field. Okay, the strength of the magnetic field. Now let us suppose that the magnetic field here is along B, along Z, right? So now what condition you have? The charge is moving with a velocity v such that it is making an angle theta with the direction of magnetic field. And for an example here, I have taken the magnetic field's direction along the z-axis. So the force is directly proportional to Q, directly proportional to v sin theta, and directly proportional to the strength of magnetic field B. We are considering here that B is uniform magnetic field. B is uniform. Okay. We are starting with uniform magnetic field. What will happen if non-uniform magnetic field will be there? That we will discuss later on. So this you have, it means you can write F is equal to Q V B sin theta, right? What is theta? Theta is the angle between V and B. Now this is A B sin theta. So can you say F is equal to Q times V vector cross B vector? Okay, right? This is your F vector. Now what is direction of F vector? It will be given by the direction of V vector cross B vector. Now V vector cross B vector will be perpendicular. It means the cross product vector will be perpendicular to both V vector and B vector. Now B vector is along your this Z axis, right? And V vector is in YZ plane, this plane, right? This is YZ plane. Now it means that F vector should be perpendicular to YZ plane as well as this Z axis. Now YZ plane means Z axis is already involved, so it simply means that the direction of F vector should be perpendicular to YZ plane. Now which axis is perpendicular to YZ plane? This is X axis. So direction of force will be along X axis. Okay, or simply you can say that direction of force will be obtained by the right hand thumb rule or right hand screw rule. You will apply here. Okay, means suppose you have this charge here. So suppose Z, Y and X will be perpendicular to the board and outward. Now what you have to do is you will rotate the screw from V vector towards B vector. You put the screw here from V towards B, so it will move anti-clockwise. So if it is anti-clockwise, then screw will come out. So the direction of force will be along the direction of X, means perpendicular to the board and outwards. Okay, this will be the direction of force. Now this force is called as magnetic Lorentz force. Okay, the name of this force is magnetic Lorentz force. This is scalar form and this is vector form of magnetic Lorentz force, expression for magnetic Lorentz force. Okay, now we have some special cases here again. First is, let Q is at rest. Suppose the charge is not moving, then V will be equal to 0 and then F will be equal to 0. So if the charge is in the state of rest, it does not experience any magnetic Lorentz force. It will experience the force only when it will be in the state of motion. If it is in the state of rest, the charge will not experience any force, right? Okay. One more special case you can take, that second, charge is moving parallel to B vector. Now suppose the direction of B vector is, suppose it is moving like this or like this, means the direction, the B vector is perpendicular to B vector. Suppose the charge is moving along the direction of B vector. Then how much is theta? It will be 0 degree, and therefore sin theta equals to 0, and therefore f equals to 0. Now in both the cases, it means simply that in both the cases, either the charge is in the state of rest or the charge is moving parallel to the direction of magnetic field. In both the cases, magnetic Lorentz force will not be experienced by the charge. Okay? Now with the help of this formula, we have F equals to QVB sin theta. You can obtain B equals to F upon QV sin theta. You have this. Okay. Then if suppose I take F equals to 1 Newton, I take theta equals to 90 degree, right? If I take V is equal to 1 meter per second and Q is equal to plus 1 coulomb, if I take these conditions, then my B will become equal to 1 Tesla. Now from here you can define how much is 1 Tesla magnetic field. You can define from here that how much is 1 Tesla magnetic field. So 1 Tesla, the magnitude of magnetic field is said to be 1 Tesla if it exerts a force of 1 Newton, if it exerts a magnetic Lorentz force of 1 Newton on a charge of 1 coulomb when it is moving with a velocity of 1 meter per second in a direction perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. Okay? Once again I am repeating, simple, you have to just involve all these conditions in your definition. The magnetic field strength at a point is said to be 1 Tesla if it exerts a magnetic Lorentz force of 1 Newton on a charge of 1 coulomb moving with a velocity of 1 meter per second in a direction perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. That will be the definition of 1 Tesla magnetic field. Okay? And the CGS unit of magnetic field is Gauss. Okay, SI unit is Tesla and CGS unit is Gauss, and one Gauss is equal to 10⁻⁻⁴ Tesla. This I am just telling you for solving the numericals, for the conversion of units. Okay. Okay, next topic is force on a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. Now we discussed that how much will be the force experienced by a single charge. Now suppose current is flowing through a conductor, then it means that charges are flowing through the conductor. Now if that conductor is placed inside the magnetic field, then it means that the force will be experienced by all the moving charges. Or in other words, you can say that there will be some force which will be experienced by the conductor, the whole conductor. That expression we are going to find out now. Okay. Okay, let us suppose that we have a conductor whose length is L. We have a conductor whose length is L, and the charge, the current is flowing through the conductor in this direction. Suppose I. This is Y, Y dash. We can take the directions. Let us suppose that the ends we are naming the ends as P and Q. Let us suppose that the current is flowing from P end towards the Q end. Then the negative charges would be flowing from Q to P. Okay. The direction of negative charges will be opposite to the direction of the conventional current I. If I is flowing left to right, then the negative charges will move, the actual current will move from right to left. Now the direction of this negative charge will be this one. The drift velocity of this negative charge will be from Q to P, will be in this direction. Okay, so we will find out that how much is current flowing through the conductor. We already have obtained the formula NEAVD. What is N? N is the number density of electrons in the conductor, the free charges. E is the charge of one electron. A is the cross-sectional area of the conductor, and Vd is the drift velocity. Okay, I think you know. Once again I am repeating: the number density of free electrons, charge of electron, cross-sectional area, drift velocity. We already have obtained this formula in the chapter number 3. Okay, I is equal to NEA Vd. Now it means that how much will be IL? Will be NEA Vd into L, multiplying both sides by L. Okay. Yes. Just a minute. Yes. Now this formula here, it must be minus. Why minus? Because the charges, the charge on which you are considering, that force will means the charge which is drifting here is the electron. So we will put a negative sign here. Okay. So minus NE, you can say AL Vd. This is your value of IL. Now we obtain that that condition. We just now had that force, the magnetic Lorentz force is equal to Q times V vector cross B vector. This will be minus E times V D vector cross B vector. Okay, minus E times VD cross B. Right. Ideal vector cross. Okay, this is the force on one electron, right? Okay, force on one electron. How much will be the force on all the electrons? Means total force experienced by the conductor, the whole conductor. For that we will have to obtain the total number of charges in the conductor. The flowing charges means total number of electrons. So total number of electrons is equal to the number density of number of electrons per unit volume multiplied by volume of the conductor. This is the number of electrons per unit volume multiplied by total number of number of electrons per unit volume multiplied by the volume of the conductor. Now N, what will be volume of this conductor? If cross-sectional area is A and L is the length, then A into L will be the volume. So total number of electrons is NaL. This is force on one electron. How much will be force on all the electrons? Capital F will be equal to force experienced by one electron multiplied by total number of electrons. So ENAL, this is VD vector cross B vector. Okay, or you can write like this. You can include it here. N NEAL minus NEAL VD cross B vector. Okay, because or simply you can write like this. I will make it more clear to you. Let me make it more clear. So you can write this as capital F is equal to minus NEAL and VD B sin theta. Okay. Now you can write minus NEAL VD B sin theta. Okay. Now how much is NEAL VD? This is IL. So this is IL B sin theta, or you can say IL vector cross B vector is equal to F vector. The total force experienced by the current carrying conductor will be equal to IL vector cross B vector, or in terms of magnitude it will be ILB sin theta, where theta is the angle between IL vector and B vector. Okay, IL vector, suppose in this previous case just we discussed IL was in this direction, okay, and B was perpendicular. So in that particular case, that case I discussed just now, in that case the angle between IL vector and B vector was 90 degree. Okay, but it can be any angle. So the formula, the magnitude of that force is ILB sin theta, and the vector form is IL vector cross B vector. This is the force experienced by the current carrying conductor. Now suppose the special cases. First one, conductor is placed parallel to B vector. Suppose you placed the conductor parallel to B vector, means in previous case suppose B was this direction and you place the conductor like this, okay, like this. Then in this case theta will be equal to 0 degree and force will be equal to ILB sin 0, which will be equal to 0. So if you place the conductor parallel to the magnetic field, no force will be experienced by the conductor. And if you place conductor perpendicular to magnetic field, then force will be equal to ILB sin 90, and sin 90 is 1. So it is ILB, which is the maximum value of the force. Okay. So maximum force, the conductor will experience the maximum force when it is placed perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field, and will experience no force if the conductor is placed parallel to the direction of magnetic field. Okay. So, and direction, how can we obtain the direction? For that we have, for this force acting on the conductor, this Lorentz force on the conductor, we have a special rule which is called as Fleming's left hand rule. Direction by Fleming's left hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule is that if you take your left hand and you place your first finger, middle finger and the thumb in such a way that they are mutually perpendicular to each other, then your first finger represents the direction of the magnetic field, the middle finger represents the direction of current, then the thumb will represent the direction of the force. So field, current, force. Okay, field, current, force. This is the way to obtain the direction of magnetic Lorentz force acting on the conductor. Okay. Now finally, I would like to conclude this topic. Just one thing I want to tell you, particularly here, that suppose a charge is moving, suppose a charge is flowing through some region, is moving through some region, is passing through some region, and suppose that the region is having a magnetic field as well as an electric field, both regions are there. Then the force due to the magnetic field will be equal to Q times V vector cross B vector, and the force due to the electric field, this is magnetic field, this is electric field, it is equal to Q times E. Okay, Q E. So what will be the total force? This is equal to Fm plus Fe. So this is Q, you can take common, and V vector cross B vector plus E vector. This is the total force experienced by the charge moving through a region having electric and magnetic, both the fields. Okay, this force is called as Lorentz force. Okay, this is called as Lorentz force. This is called as magnetic Lorentz force. Magnetic Lorentz force, right? Lorentz force means both Q times V vector cross B vector plus E vector. This is Lorentz force. This is magnetic Lorentz force. Okay. Okay, what is the use of magnetic Lorentz force? Now we come on to the properties. The final topic for today, and the rest we will discuss tomorrow. Properties. First one is the direction of force is perpendicular to both V vector and B vector. First observation is that the magnetic Lorentz force is perpendicular to both, because it is given by the cross product vector V vector cross B vector, so it is perpendicular to both V vector and B vector. Okay. Now magnetic Lorentz force does no work on the charge, as it acts always perpendicular to the motion of the charge. Okay. Now since suppose a charge is there, suppose you have a charge and it enters inside the magnetic field, then the magnetic Lorentz force will be always acting perpendicular to both. Means suppose this is the V vector, then the magnetic Lorentz force should always be perpendicular to V vector. As a result, since the force is perpendicular, so here displacement will be along the direction of V vector, so F as cos theta. Now cos 90 is 0, so it means work is 0. So no work will be done by the magnetic Lorentz force on the charge, right? Means this magnetic Lorentz force cannot speed up or slow down the charge. It cannot do any work on the charge. Only thing it can do is it can change its direction. It can change the direction of the moving charge. It cannot change the magnitude of the speed. It cannot change the speed. Only it can change is the direction. Okay. Then second point is dependence of force on velocity can be used to identify that whether at a particular place or a particular region which type of field is present. Okay. What kind of field is present there? Okay. How can you obtain this? That you make a charge to flow through the region. Okay. If the velocity of the charge changes, if the magnitude of velocity, if the speed of the charge changes, means if the charge speeds up or slows down, okay, then the place must have the electric field only. If there is a change in sorry, I am repeating once again, that if a charge passes through a region, okay, and its speed is not changing, if the speed does not change, then you will say that that particular region have only the magnetic field, it does not have any electric field. Okay, but if the speed also changes, then the place is having the electric field. Okay, the magnetic field may or may not be present there.